In this next video, we're going to discuss uploading and editing an image and adding and editing a table. So, to begin with, we go to the content management system, to the proper link, scroll to the bottom, and select Edit. We're going to add an image, so we'll just go to the bottom. Remember to make sure that the formatting is correct. To add an image, you select the link Insert Edit Image. Now, it says URL, alternative text, and a number of other fields. When you arrive, the first thing you select is Browse Server. You'll get a pop-up window, so again make sure that your browser is ready to support pop-up windows from this website. I'm going to select the JPEG logo, although it should be noted that this also supports GIF images. If you want to upload an image, you do the same thing you do with the upload file. You browse for it on your hard drive. It accepts JPEG and GIF images. You can create folders to manage the images that you've uploaded, and we strongly suggest that you do so. So, select the image that you want. It is a link. It will return you to the page previously. This is the Inti logo, just so you know what we're working with. To move down, you have a number of ways that you can edit and add information to this image. The first is alternative text. This is what the user sees when he mouses over the image. You can change the width and the height. Remember to keep the aspect ratio locked so that when you change the width and not the height, it does not distort the proportions of the image. You can always return to the original size by reset size. Border allows you to give it an outline of whatever number you choose. Please pick a numerical value and not a decimal for all of these fields. H space is space to the left and the right of the image. To demonstrate, this is what it looks like. V space is image to the top and the bottom of the image. All this is relative to the text that it is surrounding. Then alignment is how you choose how the image relates to the text around it. If you want it to be on the left, you select left. If you want it to be on the right, you select right. This will determine how the text wraps around the image. We encourage you to experiment and figure out what looks best in each of your websites. Click OK to accept the changes that you've made. Here you have the uploaded image. To go back and change any of the fields that you determined, select Insert Edit Image again with the image highlighted. It will return you to that same page. Remember that I asked you to use left and center alignments only, so I'm going to change it back to that. You can see how it looks now. The next thing we're going to do is edit a table. Let's create some room here. You see the cursor goes to the right of the image. So, to create a table, which is a good way to present data if you have lots of the same thing, for instance, a series of links, a series of numbers, or a series of resources for a newly immigrated person or a person considering immigration to use, please select Table, Insert Table. It is probably the best way to organize your data. So, I'm going to assume that there's lots of entries. Each entry constitutes a row, so let's pick 5. Column is a vertical delineation again, so we'll pick 2. We'll call it link and information. You can pick the width of your table if you want. You can select percentage of the screen is the easiest to work with, so we'll select 90% of the width of the screen. The height will be determined as we go, so please leave that field blank. Border size will go with 1, cell spacing 1, cell padding 1. You can always come back and change these parameters if you feel that they don't work correctly. We'll pick center so that it looks neat. Caption so you can see where the words end up. We'll fill out caption and summary. Okay. Here we have the table. Inside the table, all you need to do is add your text. It will format it correctly. Encourage you to avoid using tab, even though it seems like the intuitive way to navigate between cells of the table, because it will bring you outside of the text editor that you're working on. So this is column 2. These will be your headlines. You can choose to change them however you like. Remember, bold, give it a color, change the size. Then this will be entry 1. See, this is what happens when you use the tab button. Description. Context 2. For any of these, feel free to go enter a URL. And a link has been inserted. To undo the link, use the button to the right of Add Remove Link called Remove Link, and the link disappears. You may want to have a table that does not display with the outlines of the table. To change the way your table is formatted, make sure that your cursor is within the table. Go back to the table button that says Insert Edit Table. Select it. If you change border size to 0, the border will no longer appear. Cell spacing will be the room between the cells. So change this if you want to expand. It will expand the border as well. Remember, it's just the room between the cells. Cell padding is the amount of space between the words in your cell and the border of the cell. We'll leave these as they are. I don't recommend changing them if you don't have to. The most important one is size of the border. Now that the border is 0, we'll no longer see that the table exists. This may happen occasionally that you select the wrong button. If you have inserted a table within another table, highlight the table, select Delete Table, and the table is gone. To change the layout of your table, you must select the actual table itself, right-click, select Table Properties, and use the changes that I just made. We'll change border size to 0. Select OK. Now, it's not going to display inside the text editor, but you can see what it will look like outside the text editor. So you can see that the borders of the table don't display when the website is actually rendered through a browser. They do, however, continue to exist inside the text editor so that you can see where the borders of your tables are. Otherwise, it will be basically impossible to edit. Keep in mind that it's very versatile. You can make it appear however you would like it to. These are all the options that you have within the table and the image buttons. After we've made the changes, remember to please scroll to the bottom of the website, select Submit, return to the client side, hit refresh, and you can see the changes that you've made. The final video will be a list of things to avoid and possible caveats that you should keep in mind when using the text editor to edit the contents of your website.